Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the weekly live chat. This is live chat number 27. It is October 20th, 2021. Hope you all are doing well. Do me a favor, do not forget to like the stream. I appreciate you guys who are consistently joining me every week for this live chat where we discuss all things MMA. If you're watching the replay of this and you have any questions that I did not talk about on this live stream, make sure to comment it down below and then we'll talk about it next week. We are currently at 1,396 subscribers. So we are 4 subscribers away. Just 4 subscribers away from 1,400 subscribers. So we're almost there. I hope everything sounds right. It seems like every time I do a live stream, I end up having some type of issue right off the jump. And then I have to try to figure out how to fix it. But it looks like everything is working fine on my end. So you guys can fill up the chat with a bunch of questions. If this is the first time watching my channel by some chance, make sure to subscribe. First, I wanted to talk about the Paulo Costa weight cut because I thought that, there was somebody that commented on my video. I don't know if you saw my comment, but maybe the UFC can move Costa up to 205. Yeah, well, I'll talk about that in a second, French fries. But there was somebody that commented on the video, and they said, and that video did surprisingly well so far. For only being out less than an hour, it's actually, the video is actually trending pretty well. French fries, can you let me know? Does everything sound good? Let me know. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if everything sounds good before I continue talking and for some reason something may be messed up. I moved my microphone a little bit to the side when I do these live streams so I can kind of get a better view of the chat itself. And so I'm always worried that something, the cord and the plug is a little bit weird. So just let me know everything is all right. But Paulo Costa, let me make sure the stream settings. Okay, good. Stream settings are good. Paulo Costa is not going to make 185. And thank you, French. You always give me good information. So anyway, I'm going to stop reading the chat for a second. Guys, if you have any questions, just fill the chat with the questions. I'll read them all in a second. But Paulo Costa is not going to make the 186-pound limit for middleweight. That's the fight against Marvin Vettori this weekend at UFC Vegas 41. They're allowed to make 186. When it's a non-title fight, there's the 1 pound allowance, so you can come in at 186 or anywhere between 185 and 186, and you're fine. It doesn't have to be exactly 185. That's only for title fights. And Paulo Costa's come out today and said, I'm 211 pounds. I am 211 pounds, and I can't make weight. And somebody commented on the video. I did a video reaction to it where I talked about it a good bit, but it was only a 6-7 minute video, so I knew I was having a live chat in just an hour after I recorded the video, so I knew we'd talk about it more in depth here. But somebody asked, is this grounds for Paulo Costa to get cut? And for me, the answer to that is no, but also it depends. Like, if this is a chronic issue, then yes. And I know Paulo Costa's kind of been a headache for the UFC, pulling out of fights. But supposedly the Robert Whittaker fight, he was sick. I don't know everything about the Jared Cannonier fight. There was talk that he never actually accepted that fight, and the UFC was trying to strong-arm him. And we've heard the UFC doing this plenty of times, where they'll announce a fight, all the fans will get excited, and then we'll find out, well, I never signed the contract, but they're almost like strong-armed into it because now all the fans are excited for this fight and think this fight's going to happen. So I don't know. We don't really know how much it was Costa's fault that he was pulling it out. And what's, if Paulo Costa continues to miss weight like this, and also what I find funny, and I didn't want to make the video about Paulo Costa so long, really getting into it and talking about it like crazy. Is there something wrong with the stream, or is it just, let me check real quick. Let me check real quick. Well, I guess I can't listen to it. It was going to echo back on here. It doesn't seem to be flickering at all. So maybe close the YouTube tab and reopen it. Fight Life Nation, thank you for joining me. Okay, so supposedly French fries, all right. But I didn't want to make the video too long. But Paulo Costa is going to get a lot of shit for this. And what I find hilarious is, and I always try to stay consistent, but now I'm getting thrown off because I'm reading the chat, but this is why it's always hard for me to get my thoughts out on the live chat sometimes, looking at the chat. Sometimes I just need to put it off the screen for a minute because every time something pops up, I get distracted. So I stay consistent in my thoughts, and I thought it was ridiculous that Nick Diaz showed up fight week and basically demanded a weight change and it was akin to him missing weight. It was the same thing. You can't show up a couple days before a fight and ask to change the weight class. That's the same as missing weight. And nobody gave, not the media, not the fans, not the UFC, gave Nick Diaz any crap about it. Nothing. Nothing, not even, it was barely even talked about. Barely even talked about. Paulo Costa is going to get a lot more shit. Now, I think I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. I'm working on a John Jones video. I'm trying to get my thoughts together on the whole John Jones situation. But one of my main things that I've talked about a lot is I want some consistency and I want some rules. You know, for example, if you pull some shit like this, okay, you're losing 30% of your purse now, 40% of your purse. Something crazy. There needs to be something in place. This is not right. You can't. This is a massive. And I picked Paulo Costa to win. I'm not a big fan of Vettori or Costa, but I really don't like Vettori and his delusions as of late. But this is, I can openly admit and say this is a massive disadvantage for Vettori. Let's say Vettori's on track to make weight, he could be already down to 195, 190 already. I don't know that is the case, but he could already be down, getting low in his weight. And Paulo Costa's sitting up there at 211. And now Vettori's like, okay, well, I'll accept the fight at 205. Well, now Costa never even began his weight cut. So it's a massive disadvantage to Vettori to take this fight now. And if he doesn't take the fight, the fans are going to crucify him. You're scared of Costa. I mean, I wouldn't be saying that. I'd be very upset if this fight was canceled. But 100% of the responsibility would be on Paulo Costa for signing a contract months ago and not fulfilling the contract. He signed up to fight at middleweight, 185 pounds with a 1 pound allowance, and he's not going to even come close to that. Now, I want to give, and I said this in my video as well, I want to give Vettori respect because to be willing to take the fight, there's plenty of fighters that would say, no way. We've seen Phil Halls turn down a fight recently because of that. It was a replacement opponent or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But if this fight now gets canceled, look at the card. The card is going to be terrible. UFC Vegas 41 is going to be one of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life. They may even cancel it because the co-main event has no business being a main event of a fight night card for the UFC. But as far as Paulo Costa getting cut, I think this is why I'm talking about rules and consistency. If we had some concrete laid out rules for these types of situations, I would be okay with it. If it was, if it was known, if you come in and you miss weight by a certain amount, you're getting cut, then okay. But that's never going to work. The UFC's never going to do that. Paulo Costa is an elite middleweight fighter. He has a decent fan following. He has an exciting style. People care about him when he fights. People care about him when he fights. They're not just going to cut him because of one weight miss. I think, for some reason, I think he's come close to missing weight before or something like that. But I don't think it's time to cut him. But I honestly believe if you show up and you miss weight, let's say the rules, the UFC could make a rule. If you show up and miss weight X amount of times, let's say 4 times, then you're cut from the UFC. Then I would have no problem if they went ahead and did that, if somebody did do that. I just think it's super unprofessional. I think it's an unfair advantage. I basically think it's cheating. That's my thoughts on it. It's basically cheating because now you get to have a weight advantage. And also, CT commented on the video and not reminded me, but kind of made comparisons between Paulo Costa and Deiveson Figueiredo, not because of necessarily the weight miss, because both guys are draining their bodies so vastly to have a weight advantage in the cage on fight night. And that's a wider issue, and I wish the UFC and the athletic commissions would somehow address this. I know one championship has some stricter weight cutting rules where they, you're kind of designated a weight class based on your walk around weight or something like that. They're testing you here and there, seeing what your weight is and your body fat percentage and stuff like that. I don't know what the answer is in that regard, but weight cutting is definitely an issue within the UFC. Deiveson Figueiredo, has had his issues cutting down the flyweight. Paulo Costa has, I mentioned in my prediction video, Paulo Costa is a gigantic middleweight. Gigantic. And that's one of the reasons I told you guys. I picked Paulo Costa in the fight against Israel Adesanya. Terrible prediction, but I just thought the size was just too much. Paulo Costa is humongous. And so maybe he needs to fight at light heavyweight. I don't know how successful he'd be when you have Yuri Prohaska, you have Alexander Rakic, you also have, Glover Teixeira, Jan Blachowicz. I don't know how successful he's going to be, but he obviously ain't doing too good at 185. He can't make the weight. So I don't know what the answer is, but either way, I'm disappointed because for me now, the fight is borderline ruined because it's meaningless at this point. It doesn't matter who wins or who loses. It's basically meaningless. Because even if Marvin Vettori wins, it's going to be, well, Paulo Costa was injured and had a bad weight cut and couldn't make weight, and it's because of an injury and he didn't train. If Paulo Costa wins, it's because he had a weight advantage and he didn't cut any weight. So the fight's basically ruined. It's now almost irrelevant. Still should be a fun stylistic matchup, and hopefully it happens. I have a feeling that it will happen just because of the card. The UFC is going to pull out all the stops to make this happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll put a video if anything notable happens in the next day or so. Maybe UFC move Costa and Vettori up to 205. Yeah, I think there's a chance. I hope you got all the issues straightened out, Fight Life Nation. And French Fries and Fight Life Nation, thank you guys so much for being members of the channel. If anyone else wants to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description. For some reason, notifications didn't go out, though. That's so annoying. YouTube is terrible with notifications. Okay, you did say you fixed it. It's basically like Nick Diaz fight. They're going to move up. Yep, I discussed that. Imagine they scrap the main event. Grant Dawson versus Rick Glenn will be moved up, I think. Ew. Yeah, Grant Dawson versus Rick Glenn as a main event would be one of the darkest days in MMA, honestly. That would be disturbing. They might force him to fight at 205 like they made Gastelum fight at 185. If you miss weight, you should lose a point in the fight. I think there has to be stricter rules to weight cutting. I really do. I really do. It's a massive disadvantage to your opponent when you're not cutting weight and they are. So I wish there was maybe 50% of the purse. Romero struggled too. Yeah, he missed weight in the Luke Rockhold fight. He had to be dead on the number because it was a title fight for the interim middleweight title, and that's why he's not the champion because he missed weight there. If you miss weight, they should start taking more money or points. People that miss weight are just going to pull out of the fight. Very true. Very true. It's a touchy subject. Costa loses half of his fight purse now. Yeah, he should. I mean, this is unacceptable. This is unprofessional. And all I know is regardless of what Costa loses or doesn't lose, Vettori better be getting some extra pay. Valentine, you rock. Thank you, my friend. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. 205 Costa Vettori. I have a feeling that might be it, and that's so unfair to Vettori, because Vettori. Hold on 1 second. Vettori is probably already down, at a manageable weight to make 185. So, how is that fair at all? Now he's basically going to have to gain. Like, I think it was the same as the Robbie Lawler Nick Diaz. Robbie was probably already into his weight cut and at a manageable weight to get to the weight class that, they agreed upon early on in the fight camps. And it's annoying. Vettori, the more money they take, less likely you are to accept the fight. Yeah, but at the end of the day, then you don't get no paycheck. So, hopefully, I get what you're saying, though. And I think that's why the UFC is leery to do that. Because now when guys miss weight, they're losing out on big fights, and then it's kind of ruining cards. Versus now, they just fine them a little bit and then give it to the opponent. But it's annoying. It's annoying, especially when you have a very important fight like this. It's particularly annoying. Missing weight is borderline cheating. Fight purse doesn't influence the fight. That's what I mean, Yusuf, I don't know how long you've been here. I did say I consider it basically cheating as well. It's an unfair advantage within the fight. And it's the same thing Nick Diaz did, and I want people who were complaining about Paulo Costa to, I hope you were complaining about Nick Diaz too, because I feel like so many people gave him a pass for, him coming in and saying, oh, I want to fight at 185 now instead of 170. It was disturbing, and too many guys get away with this shit all the time, and they're still fighting for titles. And the guy recently missed weight on the Contender Series, and he gets a contract. It's in the UFC's best interest to keep these fights together. So making a punishment too severe, I mean, it'll be a deterrent, but it'll also end up in more fight cancellations. Because if a guy's going to lose 50% of his purse, he might decide it's worth it to, instead of fighting, to just cancel the fight and pull out. So, unfortunately, this is the world we live in now with the UFC, Dana White, and MMA. And that's the other thing. Dana White is always saying health and safety of the fighters, this and that. Well, how safe is it for Costa to be trying to cut down to 185 on 2 days, in 2 to 3 days from over 210 pounds? That's not very safe. How safe is it for Marvin Vettori, who's already made the partial weight cut, to now fight a guy when he's undersized? That doesn't seem like very about the health and safety of the fighters. Not to me, at least. It's just annoying, and it's ruined this Saturday for me almost already. It's really aggravating to me that guys can just do this. And as far as cutting him, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that would necessarily be fair, but I feel like there needs to be some rules rewritten, or at least rethought about. And that way, I just feel like guys need to be held more accountable. I don't know how many more ways I can say it, but guys, when you're missing weight, you need to be held accountable. And showing up to fight week and asking to change to a different weight class is the same thing as missing weight, and it's infuriating. It's very infuriating to me, and it ruins the legitimacy of Paulo Costa and Marvin Vettori this Saturday. If Paulo Costa wins, it means nothing. I will be the first to say that. If Paulo Costa wins this Saturday, unless he makes 185 somehow, it means nothing. And it just adds to the litany of stuff that Paulo Costa has done, pulling out of fights, getting drunk before the Adesanya fight, and then saying that's the reason he lost. And now he's missing weight. And I mean, people are going to pile on Paulo Costa for years to come. People already are suspicious of him and his physique. He had that IV issue where he was filmed taking an IV, and the IV was illegal, so people were already suspecting that Paulo Costa's up to no good. Now, I will say this. If Paulo Costa is found doing anything else from the USADA, if they catch him with a PED in his system, just cut him at this point. Guys need to be held accountable, and I will always say that whether it's my favorite fighter or my least favorite fighter. Guys need to be held accountable for their actions, especially in a game where you're punching another guy in the head and trying to render him unconscious. There needs to be punishments for using unfair advantage, and these weight issues are an unfair advantage. A certain point, the risk outweighs the reward. Agreed. Till missed weight, beat Wonderboy in a controversial fight, then got rewarded with a title shot. Exactly. Disturbing. Because he's a popular name. And it really is annoying. And I wish that the UFC or somebody would just do something about it. I mean, I'm tired of them rewarding guys. Look at the guy from I know I already mentioned this, but the guy from the Contender Series last Tuesday, not yesterday, but so 8 days ago, he missed weight and he got a title shot. I mean, not a title shot, and he got a contract, UFC contract. I was thinking title shot, I don't know why, but to miss weight, come in, you knock a guy out or finish him, I don't remember exactly what happened, and then now you get a UFC contract? How is that fair? And a guy from one of the first weeks of Dana White Contender Series, I forgot his name, popped positive for something in his system. And to get caught by the Athletic Commission, you have to be straight up stupid. So, very unprofessional from Costa. Of course, what do you expect nowadays? I'd be surprised if this type of stuff wasn't going on. So, I also wanted to talk about Conor McGregor, because I know a lot of you guys are wondering, what do I think about Conor McGregor? Somebody commented on it and told me, make a video about it. I forgot who it was. But I'm going to touch on it. I'm probably going to make a John Jones video either tonight or tomorrow. I've been kind of getting my thoughts together on that, and I've been meaning to make a video for like a couple weeks now. But now we have more information, so it's a perfect time. I'm going to touch on it there, but I mean, these guys are just constantly getting in trouble. And, you know, how many times can you claim wrong place, wrong time? Apparently, for those of you who don't know, apparently Conor McGregor assaulted some DJ in a club, punched him in the face, apparently broke his nose. How many times are you going to get in trouble? And you're supposed to be a professional athlete, professional fighter, and you're punching strangers in a bar or club? Come on now. I'm so tired of seeing the biggest stars within the UFC perpetually get in trouble over and over and over again. The same guys, Conor McGregor, John Jones. It used to be Mayhem Miller back in the day. Obviously, he's not a big star, but just a UFC fighter that was perpetually in trouble. And there'll be no consequences, at least from the UFC. The UFC will not hold them accountable at all. And it's just unfortunate. It's just the way it is. McGregor can miss weight and still get a title shot. I wouldn't be surprised. You ain't lying, for sure. For sure. I mean, Conor can come back, beat up a guy outside the rankings, and still get a title shot. You know what? Sad that DJ and McGregor were hanging out for hours. I did see that. That's disturbing. I mean, I honestly wonder what kind of drugs Conor McGregor is using. Conor's fine making weight. It's just a stupid thing. Yeah, he's more of just constantly getting in trouble. I mean, how many times can you get in trouble and then blame somebody else? I mean, look at that. Look at that Dolly incident where he threw it through the bus. How many fighters would have gotten away with that? He essentially assaulted women. There was women in that bus. Rose Namajunas said she was terrified. He's essentially assaulting women. He got multiple fights on the card canceled because people got cut from the glass. Imagine somebody got, a piece of glass went flying in their eye and they lost their eyesight. I know that didn't happen, but imagine that happened. And he got away with that. There was no consequences from the UFC. None. Dana did an interview afterwards and he had this real somber, slightly angered tone, but he didn't do nothing, and he never would. Literally, Conor McGregor probably got a call from Dana White after that happened, and Conor said, "You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing." That's just the way it goes. When you're a big star and you can make the UFC a good amount of money, you end up getting away with a lot of stuff you probably shouldn't be getting away with. Let's see. Whew. By the way, guys, if you haven't watched my Paulo Costa Marvin Vettori video yet, make sure you go watch that. I would greatly appreciate it. Drop Costa out of the rankings. That's funny. Let's see. Let's go back here. Guys, fill up the chat with a bunch of questions. Look at Brett Okamoto's tweet. What's going on now? Oh, God. Don't scare me like this, Yusuf. Okay, so Brett Okamoto tweeted out, Marvin Vettori's manager, Ali Abdelaziz, tells me, we've never been a team to kill main events, but I haven't talked to Paul's team, but Marvin will fight him at a heavyweight. He'll fight Francis Ngannou on Saturday if that's who shows up. But first it was 195 pounds, then it goes to 198. I don't know what he's going through, and I'm not going to judge him. We're going to fight. Marvin wants him to show up. Whew. Let's see. I'm starting a YouTube channel because you motivate me, but no cameras and stuff, just predictions. It's going to be a mix of a bit of WWE, MMA, boxing, and football. Okay, I already read. What app do you edit? I'm using Filmora right now. It costs me like $120, I think. I think a year. I got to pay yearly. I don't remember. But I'm sure there's other things, but Filmora was highly recommended, and it was one of the cheaper ones. So I use Filmora editing. You can also use it with a watermark. I didn't want that watermark, so obviously I just paid the yearly fee. But wish you the best of luck on the YouTube channel, my friend. Hope everything's good. When are you going to start it up? Let's see. Yeah, my Paulo Costa video. I almost didn't do that Paulo Costa video because I knew we were going to be doing the stream, but I thought it was pertinent news and to do something on it and kind of get my thoughts out without doing a live stream. Even though I knew we'd talk about it on here as well, it's actually doing pretty well. Let's see. Not subscribed. 60% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. That drives me nuts. Why? We're 4 subscribers away from 1,400. So if anyone's watching this right now and you're not, go subscribe and turn on notifications right there. It's just down below. $0. Lightworks is free editing and has pretty good reviews. Never even heard of it. Just pictures and writing without talking and stuff. What do you mean without talking? How are you going to do a prediction without talking? I'm making a prediction video about UFC 267. Best of luck, man. It's hard. It's hard, especially to get on camera. It feels weird getting on camera for sure, but now I'm just used to it at this point. I mean, when I first started, you can go back all my videos. I never deleted any videos on my channel, so I know some people get bigger and they delete some of their old content. I just left everything up, and you can see the difference from a current video to one of my first videos. You can see how, I mean, it's still okay. I'm not trying to say it was the worst thing I've ever done, but you can tell the difference in my comfort level in front of the camera. I'm going to write. So what, there's going to be words on the screen? What do you mean free you have to pay? I don't know what you're saying. I hope it all works, but I would at least do a voice on there. I would at least do a voice, have a voice on there, and even if you don't do camera. But do what you like. Guys, don't forget to like the stream. Do not forget to run up the likes on the stream and keep putting questions in there. I also wanted to talk about UFC Vegas. Wait a second. Did I title that wrong? Let me make sure. I did. UFC Vegas 41. Which is this. I actually typed 42 here. Which is this Saturday's event with Marvin, Vettori, Paulo Costa. Hey, Joey, after Randa, but missing weight is the most unprofessional thing you can do. Yeah, other than using PEDs, it's a cheat. It's a cheat. So, did you have a chance to look at the video I sent? I did look at it. That one, I think that's for Streamlabs OBS, but I think it's similar to using it with OBS. I think you just can create things on Streamlabs. I'm going to see if I can, no matter what, I'm going to figure out something soon. To get at least some type, at least like maybe super chat notifications pop up on the screen or something like that. But there's definitely a lot of video content out there to figure out how to do it. I just wish I wasn't always having some type of issue with OBS. It's always driving me nuts. It works when it's worked good. It works good, but it just seems like there's always issues. Like for some reason, my camera keeps constantly disappearing from my sources. It's still there, but it won't show. It'll just be black, and I have to delete the source and then re-add it. Okay, guys, keep filling the chat up with questions. Oh, I see. English isn't my first language, so it's hard for people to understand. Paulo is annoying. Yes, he is, Nadine. Random question. The ESPN interview Alexander Volkanovski pitched a grappling match between him and Ortega. Would you be interested in seeing that for fun? I'd have no problem seeing that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It'd be interesting for sure. But to be honest, I'd rather see Volkanovski fighting somebody. I doubt it ever happens, though, if I'm being honest. I hate weight bullies in MMA. I agree. I mean, technically everyone is a weight bully because almost everyone cuts weight. Yeah, but weight bullies are the ones cutting a lot of weight to get to a weight class. So, it's a little bit different. A little bit different. Let me pull up this fight card. With the promotion I'm with, the last card we did in August, we advertised Anderson Silva's kid, Gabriel Silva, from state kickboxing title, and his opponent didn't fly down because he knew he'd miss weight. So his opponent didn't show up at all? Is that what you're saying? Let me pull up this fight card. This fight card this Saturday, other than the main event, is awful. Awful, awful, awful. Dare I say trash. Shout out Danny Hamilton. Co-main event, Grant Dawson versus Rick Glenn. Below that, women's bantamweight, Jessica Rose Clark versus Jocelyn Edwards. Below that, Alex Caceres versus Choi Soo Woo or Sung Woo. Yeah, these are all unbelievable fights. Francisco Trinaldo versus Dwight Grant. That's a terrible main card. I'm more excited for Mason Jones on the prelims. Kamal Worthy versus Jai Herbert might be decent. Ronda Marcos is still in the UFC. Look at her record. She's 10-12. She has a losing record. She is 10-12-1, and she is in the UFC. Disgusting. Why is Randa Marcos still in the UFC? Let's look at her recent fights. I got to pull that up real quick. Oh my, she's on a 4-fight losing streak. And she's stopped in all of them except her last one where she was DQ'd. And she's fighting other girls with losing records almost. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. That's not the girls' record. So I don't know what the girls' records are. Jesus. She has losses to Claudia Gadelia, Amanda Ribas, Mackenzie Dern, Kanako Murakta, Luina Pajero. She illegally upkicked and lost. Which I think that girl, I can't remember if I thought that girl was faking or not. That was such a long time ago now, I can't remember. Khabib was a weight bully, but no one ever got mad about it or talked about it. Yeah, I don't think he was as egregious as some, though. I mean, he had a tough weight cut, but it's not like he was massively bigger than the other guys. Just blew it off. Also, the main event guy missed weight by 5 pounds, and my boss had to cut a deal with his opponent just to make the fight happen. It's incredibly unprofessional and annoying. Looking forward to Ryzen versus Bellator. I'm excited for that Demetrius Johnson mixed rules fight. It's because they don't have enough women. Very true. Looking forward to Horiguchi versus Pettis. That should be a great fight. I've always liked Horiguchi. I thought the UFC put him up the ladder against DJ too soon. Horiguchi has always looked good. Also, there was another amateur on the card who interviewed and shot training pics and of who missed weight by 20 pounds. That is unreal. Do you think the UFC vaccine situation will affect any upcoming fights, or will they move the fights elsewhere? I think the UFC is big enough where they will figure it out. They will figure it out one way or another. There's a chance. But I think it's going to have a very limited impact. UFC also said they're going to be sticking around Abu Dhabi, doing little fights here at Abu Dhabi here and there. So people maybe, who can't come to the U.S. for whatever reason can go fight there. I'm hopeful, but I think it'll have a very limited impact. What happened to the Korean Superboy Doi Hoi Choi? I don't remember. Randa Marcos is UFC because she beats girls that have 6-1 records. She'd be winning all the titles outside the UFC. Just saying. Okay, whatever you say. He said he walked around 190. I think a lot of lightweights are in like the 180 to 190 range, but I could be wrong. Shows how much you pay attention to Redhead. Doi Chu is still around. His offense is S level, and his defense is F. His chin is breaking too, not looking good. He gets lit up by a lot of people. Randa Marcos is not that good. She hasn't really beat anyone of note. She'll lose to all the decent fighters in the UFC, but she's too good to be in local promotions. I thought you were trolling, to be honest. I think she doesn't belong in the UFC at all. I think she's terrible. I don't think she looks very good. Uh, you know, whether or not she belongs in the UFC is definitely up for debate because the bar has been lowered for UFC level talent. So on that, argument, I'm willing to say, okay, she belongs here. But, 4-fight losing streak, finished 3 out of 4 of them. The other one she lost by illegal upkick. I can't remember if I thought the girl was faking, though. I think there was something controversial about that after that upkick. But, whatever. Let's see. Paulo Costa. Okay. Masvidal or Edwards? I'm rocking out with Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards beats Masvidal. Masvidal has good power, though. I'm not one of those people who is super confident about Leon Edwards beating Jorge Masvidal. I lean Leon Edwards, but I think Jorge Masvidal has the skill set to beat Leon Edwards as well. Masvidal has tricky boxing. He has good power. He has good takedown defense, regardless of what anyone else says. He has good jiu-jitsu, and especially defensive jiu-jitsu. But I think Edwards is going to pick him apart from the outside and probably win a decision. But if Masvidal can find that chin, like Nate Diaz found that chin, Masvidal will sleep him. So I love the fight. I think it's a great matchup. I think it has a great backstory, and I can't wait. Only not too far away. Randa Marcos was the girl version of Gastelum at Tough. Oh, okay. At Tough makes it okay, but the Gastelum comparison I thought was crazy up until at Tough. So she's Gastelum at Tough, okay. Good evening. What's going on, Ginge? How are you doing? What fight are you most excited for that is coming up? Has to be either Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje or Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington too. But there's so many great fights coming up. I'm in love with the UFC 267 card. I'm in love with the UFC 268 card. I'm in love with the UFC 269 card. The end of this year is an amazing list of UFC fights on these 3 pay-per-views, and I'm so excited. Tomorrow I'm going to start working on, because there's so many prediction videos I got to do for UFC 267. Tomorrow I'm going to work on prediction videos, hopefully get at least 1 out, if not 2 by the end of the week, because there's so many fights on the card that I want to do full breakdown and predictions for. So I respect Vettori now. He's willing to give Paulo a chance at 205. Exactly. Masvidal is actually a 155er, just saying. He's a former 155er, but he's big. He's still big. I don't think he's undersized to be at 170. So I know he's a former 155er, but he cut a decent amount of weight. And I think he fits in with the 155 with the 170 pound division. Hopefully, honestly, I'd still like to see him. If he loses again, maybe we can see him versus Conor next. Both guys on massive losing streaks. If he loses, that's the other thing. That Masvidal Edwards fight, I don't know where Masvidal goes from there. If he loses, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. 2 to Usman, 1 to Leon. If he wins, he's in a good spot. If he wins, he's in a great spot. But if he loses 2 in a row, that's not going to be good at all. Not going to be good at all. Fights I'm looking forward to the most: Yan versus Sandman. I love Yan versus Sandman. That's my most anticipated fight on UFC 267. Rose versus Whaley 2 and Masvidal versus Edwards. I'm just so excited for all of those fights too. You could have literally a tie between all of them. What do you think of Alan Patrick, Swerve, and Mason Jones? Alan Patrick has been around forever. Been around forever, which is crazy. He's never really done anything, but he's been around forever. It's sad, but didn't they find a replacement opponent? Correct me if I'm wrong. Masvidal will get taken down by anyone. Masvidal has better takedown defense than a lot of people give him credit for. Giga versus Keator. Let's talk. I thought Masvidal looked better in his fight with Diaz than Edwards did. I agree, 100%. I think the notion. So full disclaimer. I think Edwards is going to beat Jorge Masvidal. Okay, but I think the notion that Leon Edwards is going to go out there and just beat the living shit out of Masvidal and just utterly destroy him, I think that's laughable. Jorge Masvidal has a chance in every fight that he's in. Even against Edwards, he has great power. He has great striking. He's super durable. First time he's ever been knocked out, or the first time he's been knocked out in a very, very long time. Against Kamaru Usman, he was able to, survive on the ground against Damian Maia, a couple years ago when Damian Maia was a little bit younger, faster, and better. So I think people acting like Edwards is a surefire pick, they're crazy, but I think Edwards wins the fight. Giga Chikadze versus Calvin Kattar. I love the fight, but I don't know how I feel for Calvin Kattar. I mean, he just got the brakes beat off of him. The brakes beat off of him by Max Holloway back in January. I'm happy he's taking a long time off, full year off before he returns. But Giga Chikadze is a hard matchup to come back to. I'm almost a little bit upset because Volkanovski says he wants to fight, says he wants to stay active. I almost wish they just gave Chikadze a title shot. But they didn't have. I guess they didn't have room for Volkanovski on the end of this year's calendar. He said he wanted to stay super active, so I would have preferred just give Chikadze a title shot. Let Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez fight for the next. I know Chikadze hasn't earned a title shot yet, but if Volkanovski wanted to stay active, and you already had Yair versus Max booked, why not give Chikadze a fight after a big win over Edson Barboza, a respectable win at that. Why would Edwards take Masvidal down? I think there's a chance Edwards mix in the grappling. But most likely he's going to pick him apart from the outside. What unmatched welterweights would you like to see paired up in the top 15? Good question. I usually have the rankings ready to go, but for some reason today I forgot to pull them up. Who is unmatched at welterweight? So Usman's fighting Colby. Gilbert does not have a fight. I would love to see Gilbert Burns. There's no one available. There's no one available for Gilbert Burns. All right, this makes almost no sense. But give me Gilbert Burns versus Daniel Rodriguez. I know that makes no sense, but Gilbert Burns is not fighting Vicente Luque. They're best friends. In an ideal world, Gilbert Burns would fight Vicente Luque, but that's not going to happen. So maybe Daniel Rodriguez. I know he's number 15, but Gilbert Burns said he is willing to fight anybody and everybody. So let's get to Vicente Luque. Who do you want to see Vicente Luque fight next? I don't want to see him fight Wonderboy. He just beat Chiesa. Geez, the welterweight division is in disarray right now. I guess Vicente Luque could fight Bilal Muhammad. Michael Chiesa has a fight against Sean Brady. Jorge Masvidal has a fight against Leon Edwards. Neil Magny is fighting. I don't know if he has a fight. Bilal Muhammad, I just said I'd match him up with Vicente Luque. Wonderboy Thompson could fight Neil Magny, I guess. Jeff Neal has a fight with Santiago Ponzinibbio. Li Jingliang is fighting Khamzat Chimaev. Sean Brady is fighting Michael Chiesa. And Muslim Slakahov, I don't know who he could fight off the top of my head. There's no one else available. I think that named everyone. Because Michael Chiesa has a fight. Let him fight the winner of Neil Magny versus... Who did I match Neil Magny up? Wonderboy, I guess. I don't know. Or Sean Brady. Let him fight the winner of Michael Chiesa versus Sean Brady. I'm really looking forward to that Khamzat Chimaev versus Li Jingliang fight. Okay, thoughts on Zabit potential return? I hope he returns and I hope he looks good. I want to see him in a 5-round fight though. Uh, there's a lot of fun matchups for him at featherweight for sure. I see Sean Strickland is still in UFC 268. Is someone stepping in? I hope so. I hope it's Jack Hermanson. That was my prediction. So Jack Hermanson versus Sean Strickland, UFC 268. Vicente Luque is potentially fighting Nate Diaz. Very true. But I want to see Vicente Luque fight someone else and give me Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. Vicente Luque is a savage. Very true. I don't think Vicente Luque has a chance of beating Kamaru Usman. No, I'm sorry. Nate Diaz isn't top 15 anywhere. Yeah, he doesn't deserve to be. Cal's Grant and Colombo both doing very, very well. Colombo is a massive, full-blown dog now. I took him to the vet yesterday. He is now 73 pounds. He is going on 6 months old, and he is 73 pounds, which is absolutely insanity to me. Guys, by the way, if you haven't already liked the stream, make sure to like the stream. It helps push it out to more people. If you haven't, also, after the stream, make sure to go to check out my prediction video for Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori. I work hard on those prediction videos. I always appreciate if you guys would check them out. And be on the lookout for my UFC 267 predictions, because I'm hoping to get at least one, if not two, prediction videos out between Thursday and Friday. I'm also working on a John Jones video. There's just not enough time in a day to do all the videos I want to do. We're growing the channel slowly but surely. Almost to 1,400 subscribers, guys. I would have never thought 1,400 subscribers, and this channel's 6 months old. A little over 6 months old now at this point. And we're at 1,396 subscribers. That's unreal. That is absolutely unreal. Hopefully we hit 2,000 before the end of the year. That's all I really care about is 2,000 before the end of the year. If I don't hit 2,000 before the end of the year, I would actually be disappointed. I think it's very, very possible. I just have to keep up with the content. Yan or Cejudo? Yan for sure. Sean O'Malley's claiming Dominic Cruz declined to fight him. I think Dominic Cruz came out and said, I'm getting a higher ranked opponent. I'm not fighting Sean O'Malley anyway. I don't know if Dominic Cruz was ever offered the fight, though, if that's what he's saying. Thoughts on Conor? I already talked about it a little bit, but I'll talk about it again because you missed it. Basically, these type of guys, whether it be Conor McGregor, John Jones, they see themselves as untouchable, and basically they think they can get away with anything, assault, running into pregnant women in cars, drunk driving, all this and that. I know Conor hasn't done all that, but John Jones has done some of it. And it's just annoying. I find it incredibly annoying that they just keep doing this stuff. I'm sure you guys know this about life, and I'm sure you guys, can see it clearly in the, in sports. There is certain guys who are just perpetually in trouble. I'm sure you maybe even have a friend that's like this, and they're just constantly in trouble, even if it's not big things. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, constant trouble. It's so annoying. And I'm just tired of it. And UFC will never punish him. So until the law catches up to him and they get some type of jail time, prison time, fines, whatever, nothing's ever going to happen. What's your daytime job? I work for a construction company and also do some property management too. How many more fights do you think Burns will need before another title shot? 2 impressive wins. And thank you, French fries. I appreciate you. I just seen Paulo Costa said how unprofessional can he be over a year to watch him fight and he can't make weight. Very unprofessional. Very unprofessional homework. I talked about it in depth right off the top of this live stream. So if you want to go back and re-listen to that after the live stream is over. But it's disgusting. These guys not making weight is essentially cheating. And you signed the contract to fight 185. You should make it. I think the Adesanya loss messed with Costa's mindset and his overall mentality. I bet it gave him some... Costa might have picked up some CTE in the Adesanya fight. Because Costa has been unbearable since losing to Adesanya. Unbearable. Something got knocked loose in his brain. McGregor will stupidly mess with the wrong guy one day and get shot or something. Agreed. I mean, and also, again, I'm making a video about John Jones, and it's going to be like John Jones, Conor based, but it's going to be about trouble within the sport for UFC fighters. But any other fighter punches an old man on video in a bar like that, they're probably getting cut. But because he's Conor McGregor, he gets away with it. Uh, One day it's going to catch up to him, whether it be the law or whether it be somebody fighting back or shooting or stabbing, you know. And what's funny is, I wish I would have had a channel, you know, and I'm kind of veering off topic here a little bit, but I wish I would have had a channel when Khabib jumped out of the cage. And, you know, this is my long-winded way of getting to something, but people gasped, and the media and the UFC made such a big deal about Khabib jumping out of the cage and attacking Dylan Dennis, and they act like it was the worst thing they ever seen. But Conor provoked that whole thing, and his team provoked that whole thing, and they were looking to elicit anger out of this man. And, you know, real world actions have real world consequences. And in that case, Khabib, you know, tried to, you know, go after him, whatever. That's not the biggest deal in the world. I thought it was no big deal. You know, it is what it is. It was after a fight. The emotions were high. But in life, and in that case, Conor was claiming, well, I was just promoting a fight and this happens. No. You know, some people don't play like that. Real world actions have real world consequences. And eventually, it's going to catch up to some of these guys. You know, whether John Jones ran from that scene of that accident, there's no doubt in my mind he was on drugs or he was drunk. And, you know, getting a DUI, getting into an accident and being drunk, especially on your second occasion, is far worse than a hit and run. And then you can turn yourself in, you know, when you're sober up, and you can say, I was scared. I was scared. That's why I ran. So that's why he did that. But eventually, every time, every person, chances are it's going to catch up to you at some point in time. And there will be a time that someone does something back to Conor, or Conor gets caught and gets actual legitimate charges and somebody doesn't settle with him, or he punches a guy in the back of the head and ends that guy's life and he goes to jail for manslaughter. There will be a time. Conor McGregor is slowly making his way to become the next BJ Penn. He's going to be on video fighting men in bars, getting knocked out on the street, and you know, it's just one of those things. It's going to catch up to him eventually. Is Wonderboy chance of getting a title shot over, considering he's beaten Masvidal and Luque? It's over. Wonderboy will never fight for a title. I'm sorry, Yusuf. It's just not happening. And I don't think there's going to be no desire to see it. I mean, he got dominated by Burns. Colby would dominate him as well, and so would Kamaru Usman at this point. So, I saw Costa interview. He's clearly stated he wanted to fight at 185. Am I missing something? Are they fighting at 170? No. They're supposed to fight at 185. If Covington and Jorge lose, do you think they will end up fighting? Probably not. I did a video about this, but I think Jorge and Covington are still friends, and I think they're only trying to promote a potential future title fight. And if they don't ever fight for a title, then they're never going to fight. Covington is too good for Masvidal. Good money, though. Yeah, there's a chance just because of the money. Maybe both guys are no longer fighting for a title. We could see that, you know, they get matched up with each other. My nose always itches on these live streams because of my mustache. But I think Covington just wrecks Masvidal. Wrecks him. But there's always the storyline. Covington has terrible striking. And Masvidal could find that chin and put him to sleep. Did you see that Jessica Eye is out of her fight with Andrea Lee? She's hospitalized again. Oh, that's not good. I did not see that, though. You guys fill me in on a lot of stuff in these chats. A lot of stuff. Every dog has its day. Scarface 1983. Yep. Guys, also don't forget to like the stream. I greatly appreciate it. It helps it push it out to more people. Helps grow the channel. We're almost to 1,400 subscribers. I'm hoping we hit 1,400 subscribers before the end of the day. If anybody wants to become a member of the channel, you get custom emojis, custom loyalty badges, and I post behind-the-scene content on the community-only, members-only tab in the community tab. It's just a way to support the channel. It's like $3, and you can just support the channel. So if you guys enjoy the channel, become a member. Click the link below. I just remembered I read something earlier, and I forgot to answer. I'm kind of looking at the chat, and sometimes I actually miss a question. And somebody said, what do you think of Fedor Emelianenko versus Tim Johnson this Saturday? I think it's long past overdue for Fedor Emelianenko to retire. I think he's always going to be a big name, and just because of what he did in Pride, and Bellator will keep milking him for every dime possible. I'm going to do a live stream because people ask me to do a live stream. As long as it doesn't coincide with Costa versus Vettori, I'll be live streaming Bellator. But I have no desire to see that fight at all, to be honest. Especially, Fedor may very well get KO'd by Tim Johnson. And what's crazy is Fedor could have fought plenty of more notable names. He could have fought Overeem. He could have fought Junior Dos Santos. He can find guys outside the UFC with notable names. He chose Tim Johnson. I mean, I wasn't around for the Fedor era. I'm familiar with the Fedor era. But if I was a big Fedor fan, I'd be disappointed watching this last chapter in his career. Why did Ryan Bader lose so bad? No chin. Corey Anderson is faster, younger. And just, sometimes it's just not your day. Hey, how's it going? WGP, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. You think the UFC is waiting for Diaz McGregor 3 since Nate's last fight on his contract? Maybe so. I really want Nate versus Tony Ferguson. I really want the UFC to put that together. Calvillo is next in line for a title should she win in 3 weeks. How long should she last against Valentina? Less than a round. And it's crazy. If Calvillo gets a title shot, she just got brutalized by Jessica Andrade, last month. And if she gets a title shot with 1 win, I'm going to throw up. But there's no one else for Valentina Shebchenko to fight. I really want to see Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes 3, and we may very well never see it, but it is what it is. Caitlin Chukagian versus Jennifer Maia being a title limiter is disgusting. They both have dominated by Valentina. Already just give someone else a chance. Yeah, I have nothing to say. You said it all. How do you see Covington doing against the rest of the welterweight? So I'll do you a favor right here, random. I'll go through the entire welterweight division and tell you who I think Covington would beat. I think he loses to Kamaru Usman. I think he loses to Gilbert Burns. I think it's 50-50 versus Leon Edwards. I'd probably pick Leon Edwards. I think he probably beats Vicente Luque, but I'm not confident in that. I think he beats Wonderboy Thompson. I think he beats Jorge Masvidal. I think he beats Michael Chiesa. I think he beats Neil Magny. I think he beats Bilal Muhammad. And I think he beats Jeff Neal. So there's the entire top 10. And I basically said I think he loses to Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. And Vicente Luque, I favor him, but I think that fight's 50-50 as well. Let's see what else you guys. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'll go for, as long as you guys keep having questions. Did you see Fedor decline to fight with Junior Dos Santos to fight Tim Johnson? I did not see that. That's crazy. But Tim Johnson's probably, I don't know what Tim Johnson's most recent fights look like. I've seen them, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But maybe, either guy's probably, Junior's been KO'd the last few times. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. You keep changing your name, so Jesus, I guess, is your new name. I'd like to see Valentina fight Rose at 125. I don't know if Valentina can make 125. And I'll tell you this, I think Valentina beats Rose or Weili if they come up to 125. Oh, I see what you're saying. I read that as 115. I think she beats either one of them if they come up to 125, but it's more exciting than anything else other than Nunes. I remember when Vegas fined Khabib, and he was like, I don't give a F. I'm not going to fight here anymore. What a savage. Exactly. What's good again? What's good? Alexa Grasso is the only one I want to watch versus Shevchenko. Again, I still don't think she has a good chance to win. I really thought they should have made Leon versus Vicente for the next title shot. I actually thought it was an easy choice. Very true. It would have been a great matchup, but I think they just loved the history between Leon Edwards versus Masvidal, and it was time to make the fight. Tim Johnson is ranked 2 at heavyweight in Bellator, and Junior Santos would have been making his debut. Yeah, so maybe it's just a better situation. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't really, to be honest, I would have had the equal level of interest for either one of those fights. I really like Junior Dos Santos a lot, so I would have probably tuned in and rooted for Junior. How can you dislike Junior? But either way, neither fight is super exciting. Colby's best win. He gave Usman a good fight. Needs to prove against other contenders. Yusuf, did you see my video? It's from a while ago on this channel when I first started the channel, and I said the title of the video was Colby Covington and Alexander Gustafsson are exactly the same. And basically what I laid out in that video was Gustafsson's biggest, I don't even know what you call it, but his biggest accomplishment is what I would call it. His biggest accomplishment was losing to John Jones in a close fight. And Colby's in that same spot. His biggest accomplishment is getting stopped by Kamaru Usman. He hasn't really fought anyone within the welterweight division. Mike Perry update. But check out that video if you haven't seen it. It's somewhere on the channel. You'll be able to find it, I'm sure. Mike Perry update. I have not seen anything about Mike Perry. If Whaley wins and if Rob Whittaker wins, if Whaley wins and Robert Whittaker wins, do you think they will do a trilogy right away? 100% for both of them. They will do trilogies. If Whaley beats Rose, they'll run it back for a third time. And if Rob Whittaker, as long as the timing's all right, because Rose is kind of finicky with timing, and if Robert Whittaker wins, they are definitely running that back for a trilogy. But it depends how the fight goes down. But I would say almost for sure they would happen again. Do you think Ronda can make a comeback against Shebchenko? Absolutely not. Ronda will get destroyed. Fedor will have a fight left on his contract. Supposedly it came out today. I seen somebody tweeting that he wasn't retiring anytime soon. Out versus Calderwood. Tila Santos is stepping in. French fries, you know all of the recent news. Let's just see Nunes versus Shevchenko for forever. I would love to see them run it back 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I know you already talked about Costa missing weight, but quick thoughts. Yeah, I probably talked about it for the first 25 minutes of this stream, but I will give you my quick thoughts. Him missing weight is the same as Nick Diaz doing the same thing for the Robbie Lawler fight. No one gave Nick Diaz any shit, but Paulo Costa is going to get piled on. And doing this is the same as missing weight, and it's basically cheating. And I'm disgusted, and I wish the UFC would have stricter rules on it. But the UFC, and we were talking about it earlier, there's a balancing act for the UFC because while we want stricter punishments as a deterrent for missing weight, what will happen is if they make the punishments too strict, like let's say they do 50% of your purse. When you miss weight now, instead of taking the fight, you're just going to pull out of the fight. And you're not going to fight for 50% of your purse. You're going to say, I'm just pulling out of the fight. So when you have those stricter rules, UFC, because imagine UFC loses Costa versus Vettori. This card's awful. Nobody's going to watch it. So the UFC is trying to do a balancing act where they have enough, deterrence to stop guys from missing weight or at least, vastly reduce them, but without getting guys to pull out of fights instead because then the fight will get canceled. So it's super annoying. I'm super frustrated. It ruins the fight. Even if the fight happens at catchweight of 195, the fight's ruined. The win is tainted for either guy. Marvin Vettori wins. They're going to be talking about, what was really wrong with Costa that he missed weight? And if Costa wins, they're going to say, he came in with a massive advantage. And I think, how did he not know this sooner? How did he not know he wasn't going to make weight sooner? And it's disgusting. I think it's cheating. Vettori could already be down to 195 or 190, getting ready to make weight in 48 hours. And Costa's ballooned up at 212. Almost 212. Disgusting. There should be stricter punishments. And I think he needs to move to 205 probably. People missing weight doesn't deserve to get paid. I'm with you. But what happens is we would end up with a lot of canceled fights, and the UFC don't want that. I think champions get stripped if they miss weight. Could be wrong. I don't think we've ever seen that, have we? Does it change your prediction? No, it doesn't. But it gives me pause for sure. It gives me pause because what's wrong with Costa if he is missing weight? But if anything, I'm wondering why he's missing weight. But at the same time, I think his cardio is going to be better and his chin is going to be better because of it. So I'm still rocking out with Costa. But if it turns out he's injured, he's just showing up for a check, I'm going to be pissed. But I hope you enjoyed the prediction video. I am the Defense, and thank you for being a member, my friend, and thank you for supporting the channel. If Vettori wins, he should still move up in the middleweight rankings because Costa should go down anyway. Agreed 100%. But it's just annoying because it's no longer going to be at middleweight, so it taints the results of the fight regardless. How would you see a matchup between Aljo and TJ going if Aljo heals well? I think TJ outstrikes him and wins on the feet, probably by decision. I think the wrestling cancels each other out. I don't think either guy's going to be able to take the other down. And I think TJ has very, very good striking, and I think he'll pick him apart from the outside. If Vettori beats Costa, what's next? He isn't going to get a title shot with just one win. Very true. I don't know what Vettori does. Vettori's in no man's land with 2 losses to the champion. With 2 losses to the current champion, I don't know what you do. Let's take a look at the rankings. So if Vettori wins, I was on the middleweight rankings and I messed it up. If Vettori wins, you got Jared Cannonier fighting Derek Brunson. You have Whitaker fighting Adesanya. Jeez, you know what I just realized? There's no title contenders. If Israel Adesanya beats Whitaker again, the next title shot is going to Jared Cannonier versus Derek Brunson. Ew, and neither Derek Brunson or Jared Cannonier have it in them to beat Israel Adesanya. I give Derek Brunson a better chance of beating Adesanya than I do Jared Cannonier. But I don't know what's next. Maybe a Sean Strickland fight. Maybe. I don't know. To me, it just means neither guy are title contenders, win or lose. Very true. PDs is what's wrong with Costa? Probably you tend to, there's people who know more about it than I do, but there's talks of, PDs causing, water retention and stuff like that. But I don't know enough about that stuff to really talk about it all too much in depth. Guys, we are 3 subscribers away from 1,400 subscribers. So if you guys know anybody who enjoys MMA and likes to watch MMA content, send them the channel. Tell them to subscribe. If you're watching this live stream and you're not subscribed yet, go subscribe to the channel right now. And also turn on notifications soon. Very, very soon, next 48 hours, I will be pumping out some UFC 267 predictions. And also like the stream so more people can find the stream right now. And I hope you guys enjoy these weekly live chats that we do. We talk about all the news that I missed throughout the week. Costa versus Romero 2. Romero's in Bellator. Will we see wrestling in Usman versus Covington this time around? I think not. I think both guys are just too good. Vettori is probably praying Whitaker wins. Definitely praying Whitaker wins. I've been 212 for the past 6 months. I can't get any smaller either, but I'm middle-aged. You just answered about TJ versus Aljo. How do you think Petr Yan versus TJ goes? I think Yan is above everyone. So I've been a big believer in Petr Yan since he entered the UFC. And I think Yan beats TJ, and I think he beats him decisively. I think that he can outstrike him and outgrapple him. Yan has some of the best grappling, if not the best grappling in the division. The Sambo, the way he was able to just ragdoll Aljamain Sterling around was incredible. The jiu-jitsu looks good. He has a great arsenal of attacks. I think he's one of the most well-rounded fighters in all the UFC. So I think Petr Yan beats TJ, but I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it for sure. It's a good matchup. But I think Yan is above everyone. I would agree with you 100%. Keep the questions coming, guys. I greatly appreciate them. Why is part-time fighter Reverb fighting? He knows he's not championship level. What are you saying? I'm not understanding that one. Blonde Brunson gives Adesanya more problems than Rob. I don't know about that. I have a degree in pharmacology. Costa is pulsing for sure. God, imagine if he pops positive for PED, just cut him. Just cut him, man. I mean, people have been talking about his physique, and then he has the IV drips that he got caught on a video taken, which is known to cover up PD use. How do you think Merab will do against the top 5 bantamweights? Let me take a look at the top 5 bantamweights, and then I will tell you. Merab. Okay, let's see. Who would I pick? I'm just going to give you quick picks. I may change my mind if the fights ever happen. I think Merab loses to Petr Yan, but I think it would be a very fun fight. I think Merab loses to TJ Dillashaw, but I think it'd be a fun fight. I think Merab probably beats Corey Sandhagen. Probably. I would go 50-50 on that one. And it would be very, very close. Corey Sandhagen striking his leaps and bounds above Merab. So actually, I would lean Sandhagen in that fight. I'd lean Sandhagen to beat Merab Dvalishvili. I think he would definitely beat Rob Font. I would pick Merab Dvalishvili right now against Rob Font. And Jose Aldo. I think Jose Aldo is the superior fighter, but especially in a 5-round fight, Merab would beat Jose Aldo, and that sucks to say. But I mean, Merab shows he can absorb damage, survive, and he has an unlimited gas tank. Hey everybody, hey, what's up? Winner of Marvin vs. Costa should fight Sean at 270. That would make sense. I hope Sean Strickland stays on 268 though, and they get him Jack Hermanson. Adesanya is almost at the point where he has beaten everyone. Exactly. And the Jared Cannonier and Derek Brunson fights don't interest me at all. I would almost rather see Adesanya rematch Costa than fight Jared Cannonier or rematch Derek Brunson. But Blond Brunson has made a claim. If he beats Jared Cannonier, he's right there. What do you think of Weili trying to use her wrestling grappling versus Rose? I think it's probably a good idea. But also she has to be defensively responsible. It's just to make sure it goes to the later rounds. Be very careful early, beat up the legs, and hopefully that happens. But we'll see. Either way, I'm excited for the matchup. Adesanya is going to be doing charity fights soon, probably. I would love to see Adesanya versus Yuri Prochazka. I know that's not the same weight class, but I would love to see it. Does Blaze One Sports? What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming by the live chat. The 27th live chat ever. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. I do these live streams, guys. So join me every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Mark it down and come every Wednesday. We'll talk about MMA. I usually do an hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours. Maybe Adesanya. Does Beneil Dariush have a fight yet? No, he does not. He said he doesn't want to fight till December or early next year. My guess is he doesn't fight till early next year, especially considering the lay of the division right now. There's not much. 155, 145, 135. Which division do you think is the best? 135. Even people outside the rankings are very, very good. I think 135 is the deepest division. Is he going to lap the division then go up? Yeah. I don't know if Robert Whittaker cannot beat Izzy in the rematch. I don't think anyone can beat him. Hey Joey, who do you pick of Sandhagen versus Peter Yan? I just watched Yan versus Aldo, and what a fight! Yan is so tough and mean. Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo is one of my favorite fights. Hold on one second. I've shown you guys this. So on the members only community tab, I've posted this, but I've shown it on live stream before. Look at this. I got a Peter Yan autograph right here. It's from the Jose Aldo fight. I'm trying to get the lighting off of it a little bit. Look at that. Look how sweet that is. There's an autograph on that, and it's framed, and it's a picture of the Jose Aldo fight versus Peter Yan. So I've showed that before, and I've also posted on the members only tab. So if you guys want to see some more of my MMA memorabilia, become a member, support the channel. The link is in the description. I posted my Khabib Nurmagomedov autograph on there. I have a Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald autograph. It's on the same picture. It's the one of the bloody stare down after round 4. I have a lot of MMA memorabilia, and I always post pictures of it on the members only tab of the community tab. So if you guys want to become a member, click the link in the description. Support the channel. So how do I see Sandhagen versus Peter Yan? I just think Sandhagen has to catch him with something powerful early. If not, Yan is going to take over. He's going to chop those legs. He's going to incorporate the grappling. He's going to, take Sandhagen down, beat him up. I think Yan wins that fight, and I just think he's just too good overall. Just too good. Most likely fighter to be a triple champion. Nobody. I don't know who would be a triple champion right now. Maybe Peter Yan if he can make 125. And I don't think that's very likely because he ain't beating Volkanovski. If Volkanovski can make 135, maybe Volkanovski. Okay, nothing important. Kamaru Usman ain't making 155, so that ain't happening. Maybe Jan Blachowicz, if he can make middleweight and then he can make heavyweight. But if I had to give you an answer, Petr Yan. I think he could be bantamweight, flyweight, and featherweight champion, most likely. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that would be, if you want to nail down the most likely. I'm falling behind. Keep the questions coming, guys. I like when I fall behind on the questions. I got plenty of questions here. If Khamzat Chimaev wins impressive fashion, I think the UFC is going to push him super hard. I agree, 100%. 100%. The reason they wanted him to fight Leon Edwards so badly is because they wanted to give him a title shot with a win. That's why they rebooked that so many times. How do you think Adesanya would do against Rakic? I think he probably gets wrecked. Rakic is just so big and so well-rounded. I don't think Adesanya has a chance against Rakic. Controversial opinion, Oliveira will end up TKOing Poirier. I don't think that's controversial at all. I'm on your side. I actually think Oliveira may TKO Poirier. I favor Charles Oliveira in that fight. What's up, Kevin Weeks? That's a raw-ass autograph. This is awesome. Thank you, Florida man. How does Sean Strickland do with the top 15? Good question. Good question. Let me scoot my chair in a little bit. Back how it was. Sean Strickland versus the top 15. Sean Strickland loses to Israel Adesanya, loses to Robert Whittaker, loses to Paulo Costa, loses to Jarrett Cannonier, probably loses to Derek Brunson, loses to Marvin Vettori. I think Sean Strickland could beat Jack Hermanson. I think he could beat Darren Till. I think he would lose to Kelvin Gastelum. I think he would beat Uriah Hall. I think he'd probably lose to Edmund Shabazian. I think he beat Brad Tavares. I think he beat Chris Weidman. I think he might lose to Kevin Holland. I think he might lose to Andre Muniz. So there you go. There's my early predictions of Sean Strickland versus anyone. That fight was hard for me to watch. I thought Aldo was going to die, how beat up he was. Yeah, the stoppage was terrible at the end of that fight. Ruined the fight for me, too. And I love Aldo. Are you ever going to start a Discord? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with Discord. I know, isn't it like a community where everyone can talk? So maybe when I hit like 5,000 subscribers, I'll start a Discord. But I got to figure out even how to start a Discord. I'm not even familiar with Discord all that much. I know people use them. YouTube channels have Discords where people can go and have discussions. But if someone can give me a brief summary of what you do on Discord, let me know. Nobody will ever be triple champ weight classes has closed its skill gap way too much. Discord would be kind of cool. If Zabit has good cardio, do you think he could win against Alex? Yes. But I would probably still pick Alex Xander. Maybe Conor at 170, but wouldn't be at one time. No way. No way. He would never beat Kamaru Usman or Colby Covington or even Leon Edwards. Or Gilbert Burns. Do you think Dustin would do it well at 170? Probably not. I think he would get out-grappled. He's not too undersized for those guys. Is Volk a potential MMA GOAT? 100%. He's already pretty much cemented his name as probably the featherweight GOAT. 2 wins over Max. If he fights Max again and gets a dominant third win, then that's an open and shut case at that point. The body of work speaks for itself. Yeah, Charles Oliveira getting a lot of disrespect. I don't understand. If I'd say don't underestimate him. Very true. Very true. How do you think Kevin Holland would do at welterweight? I think it's a bad division for him. I think it's better for him to stay at middleweight. Too many grapplers at welterweight. I think he'd get ragdolled by a lot of guys. But it'd be interesting to see. What's up? Keep out. Darcus versus Holland 2 prediction. I'm going Holland. I think Holland has the better striking. I think he boxes him up. Stuffs the takedown. He's going to be working on his wrestling even some more. I pick Holland for the second fight. Poirier's boxing is too slick and too good. I don't see Oliveira winning on the feet. We'll see. We will see. I could set up a Discord. Well, we'll talk about it in the future. We'll see. I got to learn about it a bit more to understand what we do in there. But Poirier does have slick boxing, and also if Poirier hurts Charles Oliveira is, he's not going to be able to survive in the way he did against Michael Chandler, because Poirier, once he hurts you, he will not stop until he finishes you. He will put it on you for 4 minutes straight and will not get tired. There's no way out once Poirier hurts you. So that's what makes it such an exciting fight, because Both guys have great super technical striking, and Poirier has good enough jiu-jitsu on the ground to survive against a guy like Charles Oliveira. Uh, and both guys are just super well rounded. I can't wait for that fight. I love that fight. Three biggest. If Jorge loses against Leon, you think the UFC would push for Jorge versus Conor? I actually talked about that earlier, and I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance they put that fight together just because that would still be a massive draw. But you would have guys who were 0-5 in their last few fights, but I would love to see that fight, honestly. Three biggest hype trains in the UFC. Are you talking about currently or ever? Let me know, Yusuf, and then I'll answer. Discord is a way to chat with other people, whether on voice or in general chat. They have certain tabs for certain topics and assign people to moderate and have locked areas. Okay, I'll have to watch a YouTube video about Discord. I've heard about it many, many times. Do you think Sean O'Malley will ever crack the top 5 or even the top 10? I think he probably cracks the top 10 eventually. Top 5? I don't think so. It's too good. But you never know. Islam Makhachev beat the number 15 ranked guy or 14 ranked guy, and the next Tuesday he was ranked number 5. So you never know what these. I don't trust these rankings guys who are voting on the rankings. But I think Sean O'Malley has the skills to be a top 10 bantamweight, even though people think I'm absolutely hating him. Dustin by round 4 KO. Dustin will grind it out after Charles is doing good early on. We will see for specific people. Three current biggest hype trains. Sean O'Malley, Paddy Pimblett, maybe Yuri Prohaska. And by hype train, I'm just saying they have a lot of hype behind them. I'm not necessarily saying they're bums or anything like that. I'm just saying they have a lot of hype behind them. They're the three off the top of my head. You wouldn't even have to do much. Moderate can set everything up, and you just own it. Okay, well, we'll see. We will see, my friend. I appreciate it. I appreciate the information. I think it sounds like a good idea, but hopefully we grow the channel enough where enough people would join it. Only hype train I'm on is Chimaev. Oh, forget the last one. Forget Yuri Prohaska, Chimaev, Paddy Pimblett, Sean O'Malley. Only hype train I'm on is Chimaev. I don't see much on the Paddy hype train. O'Malley, I think, could easily get beat. I'm with you. I think Chimaev is the most likely to have success out of those three. I think Sean beats Aljo. Hot take, though. I don't know, man. I think Aljo probably easily takes him down. Three biggest hype trains ever. Conor McGregor, for sure. Brock Lesnar, for sure. And probably Sean O'Malley, too. Probably. Do you think Usman Nurmagomedov will be a Bellator champion? I think it's possible, but we'll see. Only time will tell. We haven't seen enough from him yet to really know. But we'll see. Yeah, Islam has been knocked out before. He's not as good as Khabib. I got Dan 29-28 decision. Yeah, the people that think Dan Hooker's going to go out there and get starched, I think is crazy. I don't think it's good because Dan Hooker's kind of coming in on short notice. But I think Dan Hooker can definitely win the fight for sure. When I said hype train, I meant fighters who were bigged up but were not the real deal. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, Sean O'Malley, Paddy Pimblett, and they may eventually become the real deal. But I'm just saying right now, we don't know if they're the real deal or not. Those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head. I really do see something in Charlie Olives. A couple years ago, he just started looking different. I think he really could put together a strong run. What do you think? I am the biggest advocate for Charles Oliveira, and I have been for a long, long time. This guy shows up to every single fight, and he looks better every single time in his striking, in his grappling, in his durability, in his scrambles, everything, his takedown, his jiu-jitsu. Every fight out, he looks better. And I am on the Charlie Olives hype train. I have been since even before the Kevin Lee win. It was a long time ago, and I was on the Charlie Olives hype train. So I'm with you. I think he can really do something. His biggest weakness is his ability to get clipped on the chin. If he tightens that up a little bit more, but he has really good technical striking. He usually has the guard always right at the chin. But I'd like to see him tighten it up a little bit more because there's a lot of power guys. Johnny Walker as well. TJ beats Aljo in my opinion. I'd probably favor TJ. Yup. I think TJ Dillashaw beats Aljamain Sterling. His BJJ is something that can carry him far. Agreed. Johnny Walker was a massive hype train. Agreed. I forgot about him. It was just off the top of my head. Chandler's going to be shocked. Chandler's going to shock all the haters and TKO Gaethje. I think it's definitely possible. Chandler is very explosive, very fast, and has nasty power. Johnny Walker, Uriah Hall, and Jairzinho are hype trains that weren't meant to be. I don't know about Jairzinho, but definitely Johnny Walker and Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall, they were talking about he was the next Anderson Silva. Ugh. Bro, Islam beat number 15 and doesn't look that good in a fight, and he's the opposite of invincible. I never said he was invincible. So maybe you're just agreeing with what I said, but maybe I took it the wrong way. But yeah, he doesn't even deserve to be number 5. Even if he is better than other guys, he didn't earn it. Had to throw O'Malley in there. Yeah, I can't believe Sean O'Malley got his leg chopped and then he was stretchered out after he was flash KO'd by elbows. Man, but Dustin deserves that belt for sure. Joe, you misunderstood me. For example, Walker, people were saying he was going to beat Jones, but didn't even get close. No, I think I understand you. So 3 biggest hype trains: Walker, O'Malley, Uriah Hall. He really deserves it for sure. Dustin said if he wins, he's considering retirement. That'd be very sad. Gaethje versus Chandler is a flip of a coin. I think Gaethje's better. I think he has great leg kicks. I think he's the better overall striker. I think I lean 70% to 30% Justin Gaethje. Do you think Francis will knock out Cyril Gane? Yes, but I'm not super confident about it. Curtis Blades could be champ if this fight IQ wasn't so bad. I mean, I think his striking leaves a lot to be desired. But I get what you're saying. He has a great skill set for the heavyweight division. Within the heavyweight division, he has a great skill set. Just a real quick reminder, guys. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. If you already are subscribed, but you don't have notifications on, go turn them on. Click the bell next to the name. I'm going to be pumping out a bunch of UFC 267 prediction videos. Also, I will keep going in this live stream until we run out of questions. So keep filling the chat with questions if you guys want to keep the live stream going. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member with the link in the description. You guys are now able to send super chat donations. Click the little money sign below. Every dime of super chat donations go right into the channel. But bare minimum, like the stream. It helps push it out to more people. I'm trying to grow this channel. It's 6 months old. We're almost to 1,500 subscribers. So I appreciate every single one of you. And also, if you have friends who are into MMA, make sure to share the channel with them and tell them to go subscribe. I want to see Charles submit Justin Gaethje to sleep. I think that's a very high possibility. I think it can happen for sure. But we'll see. I think Justin Gaethje is probably the biggest threat to Charles Oliveira's belt. Because Charles Oliveira doesn't have the takedowns that Khabib does. Sean destroys Marlon Vera in a rematch. Maybe. I disagree, though. If Sean O'Malley wins, who do you see giving him next? Hopefully the winner of Dominic Cruz and Pedro Munoz. I would like to see that. Chandler has the threat of the takedown. Yeah, but his takedowns aren't that great. Honestly, I don't think they're that great. I just think that, Gaethje is good enough to stuff the takedowns. But I know he didn't look that great in Khabib, but Khabib is just a different animal, and Gaethje was scared to death of getting taken down. But Michael Chandler showed excellent jiu-jitsu in his defense on the ground against Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira had his back in the first round, which was crazy. Can we give Derek Lewis some credit? He cheesed his way to a title twice. Yeah, he fought Daniel Cormier for the title too. Crazy, and all with knockout power. By the way, also, guys, if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at MMA Joey C. It's written down below in this little banner here. So if you guys want to follow me there, you can. Brad Riddell is the most interesting prospect at lightweight. Islam who? Brad Riddell's got a big fight coming up against Rafael Fiziev. I can't wait for that fight. That's great matchmaking by the UFC. 2 up-and-coming prospects. Fiziev kind of let me down in the Bobby Green performance, but he looked really good in the fight before that. Do you think Corey can beat Nemkov? I think he can. I think Nemkov can lose. Especially after seeing him get clipped up in that last fight. Who knows what the chin could look like? How do you think Usman would do against middleweight division, not including Robert Whitaker or Adesanya? Ooh, let's see. Kamar Usman, I think he loses to Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa would just be too big. I don't think he'd be able to take him down, and he's not outstriking him. Maybe 5-round fight. Maybe he gasses and Kamaru can finish him in the later rounds. I think he beats Jared Cannonier. I think he beats up Brunson. I think he probably beats Marvin Vettori. I think he beats Jack Hermanson. I think he beats everyone but Paulo Costa, Robert Whitaker, and Israel Adesanya, basically. So, Curtis Blades is so boring. Wouldn't be happy if I owned and fighting company and champion like him. That Derek KO was so satisfying. That Derek KO was absolutely brutal. That uppercut was crazy. Glover versus Rockage. I think Rockage wins. He's too well-rounded. I think he can stuff the takedowns. He's good defensively on the feet and has great strikes from everywhere. He's not the most exciting fighters, but most exciting fighter. But I think he would probably finish Glover. Glover's just too sloppy on the feet nowadays. Figgy manager said Brandon Moreno backstabbed Henry Cejudo because he helped Joey B train for the Cejudo fight. Okay, that's weird. That's strange, very strange. But I guess it is what it is. I didn't hear that. It's the first time hearing it. Does Islam beat Chandler? I'm going to say no. Not in the current, but I might change my mind if it happens like a year from now. Another controversial opinion. Most of the top 10 205ers would demolish Corey Anderson. Let me take a look-see and I'll let you know what I think. He loses to Jan Blachowicz. I think he could beat Glover Teixeira. He loses to Yuri Prohaska. He loses to Alexander Rockage. I think he'd have a chance against Anthony Smith. I think he loses to Thiago Santos. I think he loses to Dominic Reyes. I think he loses to Magomed Ankalaev. And 50-50 versus Volkan Ozdemir. He beats Nikita Krylov and he beats Johnny Walker. And he fought Johnny Walker before and beat Johnny Walker. So there we go. There's my opinion on that. Corey Anderson's good, but he's gatekeeper at best for the light heavyweight division. I wish he was still there. I think the UFC made a mistake letting him go. Matsus Gamrot, make sure to pay attention to him. Yeah, he got that great win over Jeremy Stevens. Should Shane Youngs move to bantamweight? I'm not even sure who Shane Youngs is, my friend. I'm missing out on that one. It's hard to keep track of all of these fighters, to be honest. I also can't wait till Colby takes the belt from Marty. Well, you're going to be waiting for a long time. I don't think it happens. How do you think Yan would do at heavyweight against the top 15? Ooh, these are great questions. Great questions. Great questions. So, I don't know. Would Yan be massively undersized, though? I'm just going off skill set, but the size difference might be too much. He beats Augusto Sakai. He beats Machine Tabora. He beats Shamil Abdurakhimov. He beats Chris Darcus. He beats Jairzinho Rosenstrike. He loses to Alexander Volkov. He loses to Curtis Blades. He beats Derek Lewis. He loses to Stipe Miocic. He loses to Cyril Gane. And he loses to Francis Ngannou. There you go. Biggest upset of the year so far has to be Rose versus Whaley, I guess. But I could be forgetting something. Corey Anderson's physique is kind of sus. Multiple people have said that before, alluded to PED use. So you're not the first person I've heard say that. In Bellator, most hyped champion for me, it's either Conor, Cejudo, or Ronda. I say Conor, and I've always said Conor was overhyped. Hi, I'm Issa. Changed my name. Just uploaded my first video. Congratulations. Congratulations, my friend. Your most underrated UFC champ. Most underrated UFC champ. Has to be Alexander Volkanovski. He doesn't get fairly enough praise for the amount of the body of work that he's put in. He has wins over Jose Aldo, wins over prime Chad Mendes or close to prime Chad Mendes. He has 2 wins over Max Holloway and now a great win over Brian Ortega. Super underrated. Figgy was on the MMA Hour talking about how Figgy will get revenge for Cejudo since he is training with him. That's so strange. I've never seen that. Brandon Moreno backstabbed Henry Cejudo because he helped Joey B. So now Figgy's training with Cejudo to beat Brandon Moreno. That's hilarious. Who would be a flyweight champion assuming no Shevchenko? That is a good question. Can you guys let me know who do you think would be flyweight champion if there was no Shevchenko? I would probably go with Jennifer Maia, maybe. Or Jessica Andrade, but I think Jennifer Maia. I'd probably pick Jennifer Maia. But that's not the most well thought out decision right there. Who would be flyweight? Okay. Who is next for Patty? Maybe Terrence McKinney. I think he has one fight in the UFC as well, and they've been going back and forth online. I've been seeing a lot. Why is Cejudo asking for the 145-pound belt? He should fight Peter Yan. He just wants pay. He tried to negotiate the UFC by retiring, and it didn't work out for him. Why is Cejudo asking? Okay, I already read that. Who is most likely to pull the upset for Trevor Whitman's fighter? What do you mean by that? I know there's 3 Trevor Whitner's fighters, but are you asking who's most likely to beat one of them? Like who's most likely to win? Chandler, Weili, or Colby and beat Trevor Whitman's fighter? Is that what you're asking? Nunes versus Shevchenko 3, if it ever happened, who would you have winning? I'd probably go Shevchenko. I think she probably won the second fight. The first fight was super close. Best fighter that was never champion, easily Yoel Romero, in my opinion. Doesn't get enough credit. Fought some of the best at 185. Made some mistakes making weight. Was finishing guys. Robert Whittaker was out forever with injuries, and Yoel Romero was fighting the best of the best. And Jacare Souza and Chris Weidman and getting spectacular performances against them. Andrade will be 125-pound champ without Shevchenko. Maybe. I rewatched the Peter Yan versus Aldo fight earlier, and Yan's boxing is so elite, in my opinion. Corey's the only one capable of beating Yan. I've actually said this. I thought Corey Sandhagen was most likely to be able to beat Yan. I still favor Yan. He's just so elite and so well-rounded. Striking is just unmatched. Yes. Okay. Most likely to win. Probably Weili Zhang. I think Weili Zhang's most likely to win out of the 3. I just think Kamaru Usman's pretty much a lock in my opinion. I could be wrong. First fight was close. Kamaru Usman looks better in rematches. And I think Justin Gaethje's just too good for Michael Chandler. And Michael Chandler's chin is just not the greatest. Who has a greater chance to pull off the upset? Islam versus Dan or Chimaev versus Li Jingliang? I think... So you mean Dan beating Islam or Li Jingliang beating Chimaev? I think Dan beating Islam is more likely to happen. Yoel Romero, same for me. Glad to hear that. The girl that's fighting Amanda Nunes for a title is any good, or will it be another murder? She's decent. She has good wrestling, but I think it's going to be another murder. I'm pretty sure. But she's super tough and durable, but I just don't think she's on the same level as Nunes. It's funny because you could argue Romero won all his fights except the recent loss to Davis. 100%. And I don't know how long you've been following the channel Homework. I've said that exact thing before when discussing Yoel Romero. What about Thompson? Thompson. Who are we talking about here? What about Thompson? What do you mean? What did I miss here? Rumbo's the best 205 in Bellator when he comes back. KO Anderson? Probably. He has nasty power. Yan is the best boxer in the UFC. People need to stop saying Max. Yan has such good striking in general. Hamzat gets a #1 contender fight if he finishes Li Jingliang or not yet. I think he probably does. I think he gets a big fight. Maybe Gilbert Burns. I think the UFC is trying to fast track him to a title. Even though it's 30 seconds, it felt so good uploading the video. I feel your work. I already respect you, but I respect you even more now after uploading a video. Editing isn't easy. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all, Issa. It's not easy at all. It's very difficult. I wanted to start a YouTube channel for probably 8 years now. Maybe even longer, really. 2013, 2014, I've wanted to start an MMA YouTube channel. And luckily I finally did. So it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. Between editing, getting your thoughts out on camera in a short enough video where people will actually watch is very hard. I'm happy that I have a channel now. I'm happy that I have, a way to express my thoughts on MMA. Because sometimes I feel like there's things that just aren't said by the MMA community. Or maybe not the MMA community, but the MMA, media or the MMA people who create content on YouTube. Like nobody was talking about what happened with Nick Diaz. So I'm just happy to have my channel. I can't believe we're almost to 1,400 subscribers. Maybe we'll hit 1,400 before the end of the day here. We're 3 subscribers away from 1,400 right now. So hopefully we hit that soon. Maybe we picked up a couple. I think we picked up a couple since we started this stream. But I'm happy to have this channel. I think we're going to see significant growth over the next couple weeks with UFC 267 and 268 right around the corner. People are going to be searching for those prediction videos. And I'm going to be pumping out prediction videos in 4K. The only MMA content creator with 4K video, I think. So I can at least claim that. I know the streams aren't as clear just because to have low latency, the video quality isn't as good. But I like to be able to interact with the chat quicker than 30-second delay. So it takes a hit to the video quality. Well, I got to go. Love the content. Keep it up. Thank you, Sebastian. I will. I'm getting ready to get off here, too. We're almost at 2 hours at this point. So much talent in lightweight. Lightweight is so good. We're all going to be upset when Jorge violently TKOs Leon Duque, middleweight Darren Till, and beat Diaz down for 15 straight minutes. Do you think Amanda Nunes will retire soon? Probably not. Probably not. Because she's going to keep beating up cans and winning. So why not collect those paychecks? What's more likely, an Askren KO or Derek Lewis submission? I'll say Askren KO because maybe he gets a KO from ground and pound. Your top 5 welterweights in order. Are you talking about of all time? Let me know of all time and then I'll give it to you. Joey, what fighter makes you start watching the UFC? I remember I loved Anderson Silva, but it was Conor McGregor back in 2015 that made me start watching the UFC regularly. So I used to watch the UFC kind of casually. And then I seen Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 1. And to see him pull off that triangle choke in the 5th round had me hooked. And I've watched pretty much every event since then. Aspen Ladd is the most disappointing women's prospect ever. She's terrible. She's not good. She was clucking like a chicken. Disturbing. Absolutely disturbing. And disappointing main event for the UFC in general. So hopefully, knock on wood, Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori stays together. Guys, we have went almost 2 hours on this live chat. I will be live streaming Bellator this Saturday and also Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori. If it stays together, I will be live streaming that as well. Don't remind us of loud movement. Do you agree Ben Askren didn't do that bad against Damian Maia in his last fight? It was just mistakes like grappling him in the first place. I don't know, man. I thought he looked terrible. The striking looked awful. Everything just looked bad to me, but I haven't seen the fight in so long, so I can't say. Well, anyway, guys, I will be streaming Saturday for Bellator and UFC. I do a live chat every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so join me next week for the live chat at the bare minimum. Hopefully, I'll see some of you guys this Saturday for the UFC and Bellator streams. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for submitting questions. Don't forget to like the stream. Enjoy the rest of your night. And hopefully I will see you on Saturday. So thank you guys for watching.